it is a complicated path to, or can be a complicated path to manage, but that's why we've assembled our experts. So let's bring Brad in while we're talking about all things money. It is a big decision, Brad, and there's lots to take into account. You're a financial advisor with more than 20 years' experience. You're a spring chicken.
Yep.
You reckon it's 30 now? He's turned the odometer back. And LifePath specialises in retirement and aged care advice. So let's begin with, what are some of the financial considerations that you would suggest need to be taken into account? And is it possible to come at that from an emotional and practical perspective at the same time?
Oh, absolutely, Kay. Thank you. And by the way, this is red. It's just faded. Kay mentioned I started back in 1997 in the finance business, then got into financial planning, worked with this little fellow called Noel Whittaker, and we got into aged care. So with LifePath, we specialise in over 55 and above, and I'm sure most of you are over 55. The thing you need to know is numbers, and I'm a numbers guy. So when it comes to emotional financial planners, we're not good at emotion, we're good at numbers. And if you're 55 years old, statistically, you've got 10,220 days. And did you know that one day is 1,440 minutes, of which you sleep 480? So don't waste the other minutes. So that's where it really comes down to. And I think when we talk about financial considerations, you really need to put it into context of what are you trying to achieve out of that financial context. And I'm never sitting beside Glenn ever again because he stole my line. This is the worst financial investment you can ever make. So don't come in here to make money, buy an investment property or shares. This is an investment into you, and there's a cost in that. There's a upfront cost, ongoing cost, exit cost, and we'll talk a little bit more about that going forward. But you really need to understand, why are you doing it, and what is the cost of the benefits as well. And I'm a massive believer of retirement villages, so I'll happily debate with your children every day of the value of an exit cost for what you can get inside here. But it is a lot of planning. You really need to do a lot of planning. Now, there might be some people in the room here that might be talking about interest rates. Are they going to go up? Are they going to go down? Is it really important? Is that really important to you? So let's just say your property. If I talk about your property now, is it lower or higher than last year? And should you hold on to it for another 2 years? And maybe you should if that's what you want to do, but 2 years, because 10,220 days actually ends up being about 25 years. But if you waste 2 years, that's about 10% of your life that you're just sitting there waiting for property prices to go up or down. And I guarantee you there's not a person in this room would have a clue what it's going to do. You might have a belief, but you don't know. No one knows. But we do know that we are getting older, only by our body. Our brain is the world's greatest liar, and it never tells us how old we are. So that's really
a very good thing.
It is a good thing.
You shouldn't believe that. So, Brad, some straight talking here. How can people ensure that they're making the most of their assets even when they decide to make that move? Have you got any tips, any advice?
I guess most people's fears. So when they come, I'm going to tell you a little secret about a financial planner, and there are some clients in here, so don't believe what I'm about to say next. We are very important people. But most people come to see us because they have a fear of running out of money and stuffing it up themselves. So that's what people worry about. So what you really need to do, and what with a financial planner, is considering how long are you going to live for, how much money can you spend, how much money do you want to leave to the children, if there is any that you want to leave, and then you set up a plan. And of course you have to understand what's may potentially happen next, and then Simon's in here and he's going to talk about care, but you need to factor that in as well. So there's lots of different products as well. Do you want to go down that path or not yet?
How long's the path?
It's not a long one.
Not long?
Well, there's so many things now.
Well, maybe we can come back and where do people start planning this vision and shaping it? What's the first step? Come and see you?
Yeah, absolutely. So initial consultations always at our cost because we just want to love to talk to people, and then you set up a plan. Now, what the governments have been doing over time is trying to get people off age pension. Now, everyone in this room's lucky; they'll still continue, but we're going to focus on building up our own wealth and funding ourselves. Now, I don't know what year that's going to be. So, downsize of contributions into superannuation. You may know that we've got a bit of a debt in this country, like a massive debt. So we have a death tax in our superannuation as well. So if you didn't know that, you need to review your superannuation, and a financial planner should be able to assist you with that. Long-term investments now, which actually help us get Centrelink. So Q-Super's introduced one, Gen Life. There's a lot of new products out there that are really focusing on the ageing Australians, and they can see, it's almost like I was going to say, it's like a bit of a wallaby or a possum inside a big python. We can see this cost going through the economy, and the government's really doing lots of great things for us to retain our wealth if we're smart with it, and spend it as well. You want to really think about spending it. I love the idea of spending it.
Going skiing, spending the kids' inheritance, yeah. There's lots of different options when moving into a retirement village. How do those options, just a broad overview here, Brad, how do they impact our finances?
Well, we're just coming into reside, using that one there. Yeah, so there are different options on many different paths. And I guess what you want to be knowing is how fast do you want to spend your money at the start? And that's where you really want to have a lot of liquidity. So somewhere where if the markets do get a bit bouncy, and of course they will, because you've seen it all before, it's not a fake market, it's a real market, so things go up and down, lots of liquidity, spend fast, go spend a lot of money now, because just with age, we just spend a little bit less as we go through the path of ageing. I'm a massive fan of superannuation. I know a lot of people don't trust it, but there's no tax inside superannuation from your earnings. It's only when you pass away that there's a tax. So we need to try to make sure you don't pass away, or do some creative laundering before you do pass away.
Doing a lot of work on
within the law. And also the options on the deferred management fee, that's my greatest one. I love talking to people about deferred management fee. I know this is your thing. Break it down. So if you move in here and you say you live here for 20 years and the cost might be 150. I use 150 because it's nice and easy in my head. Well, if you break that down each year, break it down to each week, do your numbers, it's about $150 a week. Well, just make sure you use $150 worth of their air conditioning or all the things that you're going to hear for. And the ongoing cost, because, they've got money, cost on the way in, cost on the way out, guess what? These guys are so bizarre. They can't even make money on the way. So the laws in Queensland are that the general services charge, they're not allowed to take any profit from it, and they have to wait. So be really funny, live 20 years, so you make him wait for his money. That would be a good plan. I would do that there as well.